Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Patrick from the Fasten channel, and today it's finally here, my review of Arm Wonder. Yes, I said I'd get back to you in a fortnight. Here I am. It took me a little longer. It's been almost 3 weeks now, and a lot has happened. But first things first, I'm sure most people are wondering how my left arm is. In fact, it was very, very tough to work here at the beginning, and after a good week, a lot happened. A little bit happened every day. But after a week, I realized, wow, the pain is no longer there, but there are still support points. Yes, and the exciting thing is with this device, I started with 2 hard foam rollers, so 2 fasting rollers. That's the basic area where you start to roll the fabric here. But let's take a more structured approach. So I've done something really crazy. If you ever want to do something crazy in your life, then read the instruction manual. And that's what I did for the Arm Wonder, and then you really understand how things work and why things are like that. And the funny thing is, I actually made my first mistakes when unboxing it, although they weren't too dramatic. But the basic handling of it, so this strange part that I unpacked from the box at the beginning is actually there, so that if you want to use this device on a table, for example, a kitchen table or something, then you can put this device on top of it as an additional holder. So this piece of wood, and then lock it in place with a screw clamp so that the whole thing can no longer tip over. I haven't tried this myself, but it should actually work relatively well because it's made of quite hard wood and is actually relatively stable, and it works. Apart from that, it was actually originally designed for this. 𝗔𝗿𝗺𝗿𝗍𝗂 designed it so that he could put it on his thigh and then go through it with his arm. And that's what I did, because it really feels best that way. At first I thought you had to press really hard on his thigh. Nope, it hardly slips at all. And by tilting it at the right angle, I don't know, like a 20-degree angle or something, you can then go in here. First of all, you choose which of these features you want to use, so to speak. And I'll show that up here. There are these dials here. And I made it really complicated at the beginning and then solved it completely. But it's much easier now. If you loosen the screw a little, it falls right down, and you can easily remove the HOTS part here and simply fold it out and change the first part. This means that if I now decide to start with a fascia roller as a beginner, which is also how the thing is delivered, then I put it in like this. Put my piece of wood back on here. Push the metal part back into position and tighten the screw. That's it. So it's relatively quick and easy. And as I said, you usually start with 2 rolls of hard foam flat and then go more and more into the punctual, which is of course an advantage. When you have rollers like this, you can position the arm incredibly well, like a V in principle, so that the arm is carried out straight. That's what it's good for. And just like I did last time where with the single roller setting, I can of course look for the exact point where it hurts and really go in there. And then with the well-known method, which I always talk about in the fascia channel, you go in there and really go with the tissue and not against the tissue, not scrubbing over it, but really go to this pain point, hold the ball there as far as I can, and wait for the pain point to subside, for the whole thing to let go, and then I just keep going. Yes, and then it may be that I only get 2 centimeters further at first, and then the next point comes, or it is simply over a longer area, like a string of pearls, where there are several points. But that's exactly what we want. We want to work on that, and yes, the effect is absolutely brilliant. The arm becomes less painful relatively quickly. Less painful relatively quickly, and you also notice that it's looser and lighter, so I no longer have any problems at all, and whenever he starts to grumble a bit again, I just grab the song and do it from the TV. And it's actually really fun because you immediately notice that something is happening, and you only have to put your arm through it yourself. So you don't have to massage it so much yourself, and then your hand hurts afterwards. That's not the case here. The device does it. That's pretty cool. So exactly, you can change the tools, so to speak. Change the tools. I read in the operating instructions that you always start by turning these adjusting screws upwards. So of course we have as much space as possible, and then we usually start harmlessly on our thigh. So here I've currently adjusted this V, what I said with the balls, and a bit flatter up here. Yes, nothing is happening for me yet. There's a little bit here at the top of the elbow joint where the arm is getting thicker. Now I could turn it a little again, and up here I would already feel something. But I realize that's not enough for me. So now I'm starting to increase the intensity a little by simply turning it down 2 or 3 turns. Down, that was too far here. And yes, now I can basically try it again and adjust it accordingly or not. So it's now from 0 to 100. I've now adjusted it so tightly that it's making a really big difference. I only have my right arm up to date, and yes, I can already tell there's something there. It's not yet bearable or anything, but there's definitely something to do. And it's this burning sensation that we want to have in order to dissolve this adhesion. So all in all, it's a mega cool toy for at home, because you can actually use it, especially if you work in these areas where you have to work a lot with your hands. I can think of a painting profession where the wrist is just right. Of course, anyone who works manually, elderly care or care in general, anywhere where I use my hands a lot. I know of my ex-girlfriend who was a professional musician. Of course, they also have a lot to do with their hands and fingers. As a result, they tend to have shoulder, neck, and arm problems. Yes, that would be one of those professions. Feel free to write in the comments what else you can think of that might be relevant for you. So anything to do with elbows, forearms, and carpal tunnel syndrome would be a big, big thumbs up from me. It's a really cool device. What did I do for you? I contacted Jan Becker again for you and said, watch out, my dear, that's a pretty cool idea, but what can you do for my community? And I'll link that below. He said there is actually a discount coupon. So if you click on the link below and then enter fascia channel, and as the code word on his page during the ordering process, you'll get a discount on this device if you want to order it, because I owe it to you. I've tested it for you and I'm now a real fan myself. I'll have to see how I can incorporate it into my daily practice routine for my patients. It's a really cool gimmick, I have to be honest. It's really just my personal conviction. I don't get paid for it. Yes, I got this device for free to test. That's true. Yes, in that respect, yes. But I'm not getting any money for making a video here and telling people how great it is. It really helped me. And it's basically exactly what every therapist imagines and needs for their arms. So every therapist who does a lot with their arms, masseur or whatever, knows that this is their problem area. Well, yes, that's it for our arm miracle. And as a special, I'm currently negotiating. I would love to introduce you to Jan Becker. I'll call him again. Maybe we can manage to get him into the office so that I can introduce him to you and he can ask us some questions and tell us himself how he came up with the idea of building something so cool, because as we already know, he's not a medical man. But so much for today. I look forward to seeing you again on the Fasten channel, and all the best until then. Ciao.